Just let me know when we're.
We are live now. Hello.
We are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this These Flimsy Rituals stream. I'm Adam, and everyone else is here. Would you like to introduce yourselves
Yeah.
in reverse alphabetical order? Just
You
Fun,
bastard.
And that's probably me.
That's
Hi, I'm
almost better.
Ziz. Actually, it's been a long time since we've introduced ourselves.
Yeah,
just say whatever you like. That's how
Yeah.
this works.
you got a whole new Twitter.
I'm
and
currently
everything.
wearing, my Chala sweater. So
Excellent. Oh, that is good.
that's my introduction. Hello.
Fantastic. Hello, I'm Thrin, and I am the second last in the alphabet. So now it's my turn.
Wait, how does the alphabet go? Oh, so
It's
me.
you
Okay,
next,
it's
Steve.
me next.
It's
isn't it?
you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you.
I know words and things. Hello, I'm Steve. You can find me on Twitter at purple_Steve.
Oh yes, that's the thing we
yeah,
do.
well, yeah. Do you remember that? Remember we used to do that?
What's Twitter anymore, though? You know.
Oh God knows.
What
yeah.
is Twitter?
Find me
You're
on
Right.
Elon Musk's hellscape at purple_Steve. Anyway, moving on quickly. Ryan. stop me talking.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. You can call me Daddy Big Stream.
And I will. Yes, I will.
Also, now that you said that, do it in reverse alphabetical order. The three of us are right next to each other. RST.
Yeah.
Mm.
RST, Z, and then just A.
Yeah, A
Yeah.
through Z. We got it, baby.
Hey.
All of us. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at BrainXray, and yeah, on this podcast. How exciting!
Yeah. So
The special These Flimsy Rituals alphabet episode where we talk about
we're going to go through every Tiding character in alphabetical order, starting with Iof. Is that right?
There is some debate on the spelling of Iof, so
I mean, but in the spreadsheet it begins with A. Or we could start
not
with
when I'm
Avon.
writing it.
All right,
doesn't.
then we're starting with Avon further on, who should be first either way.
That is true.
I'm sure there must be another A. Or Skull, not technically their first name, so don't know. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be trying to remember stuff about Tiding and trying to work out if we actually know anything about the show that we made. Because it's been a while. When was the last episode we released of Tiding? Like
I
20
don't want to think about it.
something? 2020?
Mhm.
2020 was when we launched Embrace, and maybe like 2019 would have been the last Tiding episode.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's been a
Wow.
while.
That's
Done a whole pandemic in the middle. We did it.
Yeah. Yeah, we recorded Embrace through all of that. I think we just well done everyone.
I feel like you can tell,
Yeah.
in fairness.
Needed a break after that.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're kind of in the process of getting ready for season 2 of Tiding. We're going for season or chapter, or are we even calling it Tiding? We don't know, but we will get somewhere. And yeah, we're doing a load of prep stuff and working out, remembering what happened in the first season. We're sorting out characters, especially with the new rules, because Ryan now exists. And we just thought it would be fun to invite people in to join in this process. Especially this bit, because you got to let Blake see us all go, I can't remember what happened in the show. Who even is Briss? Like, all of that.
you all get to find out what we sound like before Thrin edits us to make us sound professional.
That's true, that's true. Yeah.
So,
So
we
I don't know
do
how
this.
long we'll be streaming today. We might just split this up into multiple parts if we don't get through everything in this recording. I don't really know where to start. Do we want to go from like straight into I know where to start, which I think is let's start at the end and let's start by asking you some questions.
Mhm.
Can you all remember where your character was at the end of Tiding? How was your character feeling at the end of Tiding? Just to get us back into the Rhine mood.
I am on a mountain watching a very large corpse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember.
Vens is
Also, I should say there might be spoilers in this. If you've not listened to Tiding and care about spoilers, you should maybe not. You
This
should
is not the
maybe
one.
Listen to this live
We're
stream.
really getting right into it here.
I would
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would also say that this won't end up even being a factual retelling of what happened in Tiding because
No, this is more of a
No.
folkloric recollection.
Which is what our podcast is all about in a lot of ways. What are
Mhm.
stories? We just don't know.
Vens is having a nice sit under a tree, reading a book.
Ben's was, but then I think more happened.
No, wait, I thought that's how it ended.
No, you went. Wait, Steve. Where's Briss at the minute?
Briss is currently escorting a prisoner, a jackal,
Mhm.
back
Prisoner.
to the caravan.
I think you arrived back at the caravan.
Did we actually get there?
Yeah, because I think you met back up with Vens.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know whether we played through that scene or whether it's just in my head as a scene that happened. And you found Corin in a tree trunk. I don't know whether
Do
we
you
played
remember
through that
Corin in a
scene.
tree trunk?
I don't know if we've just spoken about it a lot, but basically, you and Vens are back where the caravan should be, and the caravan isn't there.
How do you lose a caravan, lads? Come on.
Yeah, and Chala, Ziz. I don't know what names I should be using right now. I just kind of fall into the I'm playing Tiding. I should call you all by your characters' names.
I mean, I'm
Makes
I'm
sense.
dressed for it. I'm ready. I remember a couple of things.
Hmm.
I remember we finally figured out how to cuddle an ice bear.
Okay.
I remember that Chala's just full of like anger and how dare people be scared of me, but if they're scared of me, I shouldn't even be here anyway. I'm gonna go off on my own with
Nobody
my entourage of whatever they are now.
I love that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go off on my own with my entourage.
Yeah.
Off on my own with 8 other people.
Can we remember? I'm
Alone
trying to.
with my friends.
Yeah. So
There's like,
like,
what, like 2 weasels, an ice bear, a very small and weak god-like thing.
hmm
Um,
3
how
more
many
people,
of the
4 more
people are-
people.
'cause there's like the 3 people that were in the dancing storm.
Yes.
2 people? 2 or 3?
I think it's 3. I think it's one of the things I want to try and work out is like, see if I remember everyone from all of like the caravan families. But like I think you were with Savel.
Yeah.
Oh God, what are the children called?
there's-
Venren? No. Who was Venren's
No.
kid? Venren might be Jedda's kid. No. I know there's Island and Venren. That might be them. I can't remember. I think there was either 2 or 3 kids, but one of them died. But I think that's about right. I'll have a look at the answers in a minute. But yeah, you had those, and then you had one more, like, other important character.
So I had one more who is potentially there to be helpful and potentially there to stop me from doing everything that I want
Be a
to do,
parent,
which is
yeah.
really important.
And who was that?
That
Is
that
the most
Callan?
important boy in the universe.
It is Callan. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's Callan. And so that is going off on your own with an entourage. But the most important thing, I think, is we had like a nuzzle with the ice bear.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, or at least what I'm prepping towards is Briss and Vens are kind of heading off towards a territory which is called, I don't actually think it's got a name. I think I've got like Farron or Terran written down, but I hate that name because it's a bit too like Terra. So whatever that territory is, but it is the territory of the Satrapia Fetra, who, has many fine representatives such as Captain Aloma Labrensis, who have, kind of kidnapped the caravan and are forced marching them over to like their capital. And then Chala is heading a different direction, kind of like up north, towards a territory called Irrevant. And Irrevant is, we saw like the outskirts of it when we first came out of the caves, and Chala and Corin climbed some trees, and you met all of those birds that were leaves. So big forest. I think the domain I've got is like smur, which is like a Scottish word for like constant drizzle. So
Nice.
like just a constantly drizzling forest. And I think so Charla is going that way looking for answers.
So like
For-
a literal rainforest.
Yeah, but like a rainforest in the way that like a British, like the way that the UK is a
Temperate
rainforest, I think.
rainforest.
Like I don't think it's quite the UK, but
Mhm.
like yeah, that the
Might be
trees are
like-
much bigger. But yeah,
Like a Pacific Northwest rainforest where it's just all mossy
Yeah.
and like that
Yeah.
kind.
that mixed with like the swamps from like Neverending Story.
Ooh.
Like that kind of like very wet, like the floor is just probably constant swamps, and then like people living in the canopies or in like houses with stilts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then I think I don't know if we spoke about it on screen, but I think the intent was that Belka is kind of following in the footsteps of Charla, kind of Belka doing their own little investigation, trying to catch Charla up. So we've kind of got like two parties. We'll probably record all at the same time because I think that's more fun. But like kind of two storylines that should hopefully dovetail back into each other. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. I said about trying
That's
to
right.
remember all of the caravan. Should we
Mhm.
try to do that?
Yeah, hit me.
Leaf.
So in my head,
Its name most of the time, that way.
yeah, okay. Let's go. So in my head, I've got a mental map of the caravan because we once laid out a relationship map, and I can kind of see that in my head. So the
I
mo
can do one. I can do one.
I'll go.
Mhm.
Okay, go for it.
That's it.
Who?
The only person I can remember, and it's a dog.
Actually, yeah, we should start with the newest family in
Oh, damn it.
and the caravan, which is Briss's family. Who is it? Who's part of Briss's family?
Congratulations, Briss.
That's it. It's Leaf. That's my whole family. No one else.
I mean, there's someone important you should remember.
There was the two. Is it Maddie and Kaylin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that their names?
Maddie and Kaylin. Yeah, who you collected from the caves alongside Leaf and someone else.
Well, there's Corin. I don't know if you're counting that as one.
Or Corin counts. Yeah, like who else is?
Counts.
I mean, who else is connected to Leaf? I guess is the question.
I can't remember their name.
Like the proto
Yeah.
Ivar.
Yeah, exactly. Super Ivar vibes. That's
And now you said it, I've forgotten the name. Oh yeah, Cast.
His name is
Cast. Yes. Cast and Leaf. So Ghost Cowboy.
has a gun and a dog.
Yeah.
Dog is better.
I'm trying to remember if anyone else ended
You have
up
Cast's gun
in
now.
your family.
No, I have the gun. Of course, yeah, I can remember that.
Steve
as
has
well.
a gun. Martin has
Oh,
the
it's not
gun.
my family gun.
This is my
Yeah.
son gun.
Anyone else? Anyone else important
I
in your
left the
family?
son. Oh,
So yeah, anyone else important in your family? An elderly
Old
fellow,
man.
maybe?
With
Likes birds.
No, I'm in denial about anyone. Who may not be in my family.
Your new family granddad.
I haven't adopted a granddad. Jesus God.
so you're happy to accept 2 new wives and a ghost stranger, but Ben's is where you draw the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a limit of one old man in my family. Sorry.
Look now, Steve, when you need fatherly advice.
I guess like the other like two important members of your family who are not alive are Aya, who was your sister,
Mhm.
and Isin, who was your brother-in-law. So like Corin's parents.
Yep.
What other families? Should we go to Charla's family? Who's in Charla's family?
The 2 parents. One of them is dead and is now a ghost attached to the one that's alive.
And their names are.
And that- they can sing. Singing happens, and they like the singing,
Hmm?
and
Yeah.
the dancing,
And they have
Mhm.
names, right?
and
And they have names.
They do have names.
Yeah.
hmm
There's also a grandmother,
Okay, the grandmother's name.
Camille. I think.
Yes, yeah,
Camille?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The best
don't
grandmother.
remember I don't remember the parents' names, and I'm pretty sure halfway through tiding I swapped them.
Hmm. I think yeah, they got switched around to which one was which, maybe. But I think
Yeah.
if I remember right, they were Yanni and Saren. Though I do need to check that.
That sounds familiar.
It
Yeah.
sounds familiar, but in the sense that there are a lot of names. So I'm
Yeah,
not very-
can you remember what your like siblings are called?
No.
basically what
The kid that I remember the most, whose name
Hmm.
I also don't remember, is the little moth-like child.
Yeah. Oh, that's Belka's family. But yeah, you had
Not my siblings, not
Oh,
Chala's
yeah.
siblings, but the little moth child that we sang a lullaby to.
an older sister
Yeah.
whose name I cannot remember, and then you had a younger sibling
Brother?
I think I actually remember these
called
names.
Drish. What was the older
Yeah.
one called?
Tien, I think.
Yeah, that
Tien
sounds
and
familiar.
Drish.
Yeah.
I love that most of the stream is going to be like, yeah, that sounds right. Moving on.
Yeah. Well,
I only
I'm gonna
remember
go
because
look at the document after and see if we get everything right.
There was a scene about Chala coming back from somewhere after having been like lost or errant for a while and being fed soup or tea or something, and their siblings just like leaning in to do big slurps out of the cup. And that's the only time I remember them being named, but
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the chat, Baden's got a good point. Their names are Mum and Dad.
that's true.
Do we
their
know
names
if
are
there's
Mum
truth
and
in it? Do you use actual names or mum and dad? We don't know.
That's a good point.
We never decided.
It's like the mum and dad from Karen Chicken when they call mom and dad.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're only ever on screen up to their waist.
Yeah.
Right?
And Belka, your family? Also
Elka.
the best family. I mean,
Is
like family in like not political
family,
structure
quote unquote,
sense. Yeah.
is and I will remember her name, Arkan, and the one that Arkan looks after, who is
Hmm.
more important than Arkan.
Yep.
What is her name?
Protagonist of the show.
Protagonist of the show.
I
Who
can know.
Who got mushroom poisoned?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the one that was like poisoned and
And
Who
was-
Chala saved.
sleeping.
Was in a coma for a really long time. Oh, that's annoying.
I almost did the same
I'm in my
with
mind
Jeddah.
palace. Hang on.
Alright, Sherlock's on it.
Let me know if you want any hints.
She sleeps in a wagon.
She well, not anymore, but at one point before you
well,
left all your
for a long
wagons in a
time.
cave.
Slept in a wagon, and we drew pictures on the walls for her.
She sleeps in the
Yeah.
wagon sounds like the beginning of a Dolly Parton song.
And her name was Dolly Parton. I want to say it starts with a V, but that might not
Yeah.
be right.
No,
It does?
it starts with a B.
It does.
I got there by remembering that it was the parish. If
I
that
think-
helps.
Vilta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vilta, who is
Yep.
the prophecy haver,
Yeah.
and Arkan, who is her bodyguard,
Who is Spiky?
who is a big hedgehog.
Yeah.
Vilta's got gills, right? Like polyps and a frill. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And then there is Iof,
Yeah.
who is a teenager who can talk to weasels. I think all
Yeah.
animals, maybe.
Who can magic weasels?
Who can mind meld with animals, which is fine,
Yeah.
probably. Fenrir, who is now
Oh.
Fen,
Yes.
who is the little moth child.
Is that the
Yes.
moth child?
Who just inexplicably went into a cocoon, which
Who went
Chris
into
loved.
a cocoon and I believe will be out of the cocoon when we come back to
Hopefully,
Titan 2,
yes.
as Fen. And Nilcat,
Who?
Everyone's favorite.
everyone's favorite daddy.
Yeah.
That is Belka's family. I think that's all
Belka's
of them.
family. I think that is all of them. Okay, and then the other families, I guess, my responsibility. So there is, there's obviously Jeddah and her two Burns, who can't remember their names, and
I
because they've
remember
never
Jeddah's
really been
last name, but not.
Jeddah Assam, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
There is everyone's favorite family, which is Tayal and Polav, and the beautiful flower boy Varesk. There is Ree and her family, which I think is that Callum? Yeah. I think Ree, and then there is like Freur, who either I can't remember whether she was off on screen, but was like daughter or wife, one of the two. I can't remember. But was like Callan's mem, and Callan had two siblings,
Yes.
one of whom died, and one of whom did not. One of whom
Yeah.
you had a conversation with Belka.
Yes.
God, that's remembering names is hard. Sorry, we're just making you all watch me remember names.
Callan's
uh,
sibling is called Sov, because I remember
Oh,
that conversation.
and Creve, Southern Creve. Creve was the one that
Ah,
died. Creve was married to Briston's sibling. Briston was also part of the Savell family, but wasn't part of the getting turned into storm puppets or whatever we want to call those. And then the last family is like the Shu family. Who was in the Shu family? No, Shu was Jeddah's brother.
She was with Jeddah. Yeah.
Yeah, that may be everyone then.
Very,
I remember that because she was inexplicably very good with children, I think.
Yeah.
very quickly, the new piece of lore has just dropped in chat, which is Baden says Nilcat has cat ears in my head because of his name.
I was literally going to be like, this is unrelated, but I need to read this comment so that everyone pictures Nilcat as a Catboy gamer.
Yeah.
I
Like
just need you all to...
forearms.
Ruined it.
All I'm imagining is like Nilcat with huge forearms,
Tiny
built
little cat
from
ears.
like days working in like factories, and then just like little cat ears and a
Built
bad
like a
head.
brick shit house, but in a crop top and with cat ears.
Yeah. I feel like
Supreme.
we need the like Erasmus art with cat ears.
For anyone who's
Ah.
seen that in the fan art channel in the Discord, that was legitimately my phone background for 9 months.
It's like Nilcat and a crop top.
Yeah.
Okay, families. I've got them on screen now. So starting from left, Charlie's family is Tamil. I've not got the names in this. Okay, that's maybe what I couldn't remember. So we've got Tamil. We have got Tien and Drish, Yanni and Saren. Yanni is the one that is. Oh, Saren is the one that is a ghost. And then so that's that
It's
family.
one way around.
Then the other family, Jeddah, Shu, Vasan and Lef were Jeddah's children.
Mhm.
And then, Tyal, Palav, and Vrask. Stenka? Who I
Which
think...
one of Tyal and Palav is the one who is mute?
I think it must be yes, Palav, because Tyal I've got described as... When I first made all of the characters, I gave them like a role,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting. So Tyal was the flower, and Palav was the earth. Just to give like an idea of how I play them. Tyal is described as a farmer, open, caring, unsure, and Palav is a villager and a cook, described as hardworking, loving, stubborn, and silent.
Okay.
Then so Stenka was like Tyal's dad, who I think appeared in the very first episode as like the cranky old man when you're doing the council. I was like, no, we shouldn't leave our that character.
Mhm.
Then we had Fro and Ree, who I've got no idea what relation they've got with each other. Cal and Soft Creve. Creve was married to Briston. Okay, cool. So that's why Briston is, so sad and so
Makes
angry. And Savell and Aelin were the people who are with Charla. The rest of that family, Iron? I can't remember how I pronounced that name. Ven and Venren all got lost at the caves. Along with Ree and some of the people.
Also is gone, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that there are old names here as well. Like, I'm looking at the parish ones, and we've still got, like, Arkan as Cora for some reason.
That is not the case.
That is not the case. No, that
Arkan's
changed.
name is Arkan.
Yeah. I've got Corin as Koran. Koran, which is not the case either. But I can look at this long
Yeah.
list
A
of...
lot of the old typing
descriptions.
documents are not accurate.
Yes. which is great. Like our characters, factions, locations list still has like an encountered character sheet and then an unencountered character sheet, of which most of the unencountered characters we have encountered. Yeah, just looking through, these good characters, which we'll get to. Should we, now that we know who the caravan is, follow their journey and try and work out, what happened?
Filter got prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
That bad thing happened. And we all started heading down there to solve it, and then Vilta was an ass and was like, I'm gonna go solve it on my own so no one else gets in trouble or gets hurt, and then immediately got poisoned by the locals. So that worked out really good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually we caught up and were like, hey, excuse me, what the fuck? And everyone was a bit upset about us existing in general. Particularly Iof for some reason, possibly the weasel wrangling was off-putting to people, which is incredible considering how menacing Arkan must be and how annoying Belka must be that Iof was the one that people were wary of, but who can say what lies in the hearts of men?
If I remember right,
Some people are just too nice, right? And you're just a bit wary of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
if I remember right as well, so this is like quiet year stuff, so like the stuff that we alluded to throughout the series, but we never released because the quiet year recording was not good in any way. There was like, at the same time, there's kind of like changing sort of to and froing of governance, which is mainly represented by Aya and Jeddah.
Yeah.
Jeddah bringing back like old like storytelling as a tradition to kind of like get people's mood going, and then like Aya going like, yeah, this is great, let's turn this into like a not nationalistic but that kind of like that very traditional nostalgia, aren't we great? And then I think Aya got pushed off a cliff maybe at some point.
I think
Is that what happened?
Aya fell off
She
a
fell
cliff.
off a cliff, yes. Yeah, I think that was very like obtuse.
But I think Vilta was poisoned because of this sort of Aya Jeddah standoff situation, and Vilta was all like, new things change, let's welcome strangers, and things got a bit weird. And she got mushroom poisoned.
All the while Vilta was presumably like, I don't care if you welcome strangers, there is something terrible going to happen here, please will you help me?
There's a question in chat that Arkan is the one with the same rulebook as Vens, right? But I don't think that is true. Arkan is a warrior, so would probably be, I guess as a rulebook would probably be the Guardian, except instead of a child, she has Vilta.
Yeah. Ioth might be the one.
Ioth
Ioth is
the one.
sort of maybe a weaver or unraveling and not like, I think you look at rulebooks and you're like, this is this or this, but like it's vague probably once you're in the world.
Same... I think it was hinted that Callan,
yes,
not Callan, Corin, was headed down the Vens path into the waiting arms of Unky Vens.
Yeah. And I imagine Vilta is probably like a weaver in that sort of way.
Look, who doesn't want to go out looking for birds? I don't
Who
think there's
doesn't want
anyone.
to go out to look for birds and dissolve into the ether?
So yeah, all of that happened. All came to a head when Strail came in, so that was like the big storm god. Oh no, this is all going to go wrong. And I think the end of like the Quiet Year game was like basically the community split. Like half of the people went, no, we're going to get out of here, and half the people went, there are caves under here, we're going to go hide out in these caves. And I think the more traditional side went and hid under caves. The people who sided with Vilta left. And
With Jeddah.
Yeah, with Jeddah and Vilta, I think.
No, Vilta was still unconscious when we left, I think.
Oh, yeah, I meant like sided with what like Vilta represented.
Okay.
And like the parish represented. And yeah, we kind of picked up with you all in a village.
Hanging around eating soup.
Do you want to go like, there's two ways we can do this. So we can go like top level and try and work out what the overall structure is, or we could try and remember what happened in vague episode order. We could do like
top,
one, then the
top
other.
level is easier.
Let's do top level, and then we can always come back and yeah.
I'm likely to remember top level because I'm going to remember things like, and there was a river and it was really cold, and Chala jumped into it. And then
Okay,
some
our
kind of
opening
windmill.
scene. Yeah. A windmill of orbs.
Yeah, windmill of orbs, cold river.
Got busted almost immediately.
Straight away, yeah.
Yeah.
Shu did
Mailing
that
out a
like.
whole bunch of other kids.
I
It's not a good plan. First bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
remember Shu did the whole like, you shouldn't be in there sort of like
Oh, you
finding
scamp.
you.
You
Yeah.
rascal.
Okay, first few episodes, what happened there? Who would like to?
We
answer that?
walked. We walked around.
We did some walking. We walked away from a storm.
It was very
Um,
sort of Fellowship of the Ring. We just walked towards a mountain.
we did some walking
We did.
in a direction that was roughly not the way we'd just come from.
It wasn't even a mountain you were heading for to start with, right? It was just. I think there's another village and out, but yeah.
Yeah, we were going to the other village.
Yeah. So remember, like, the first episode was like Charlie going to the thing. Briss met Vens while out scouting, and Vens was just some old man looking for feathers, which
Yeah.
Briss was very confused by for some
And he
reason.
just hasn't left since.
Well, it
Um,
has been life-threatening situation after life-threatening situation.
Yeah.
It's not like a
A
Vens said it-
camping trip.
Potatoes.
That
Yeah.
was quite
Yeah.
nice.
That was also in the middle of a lull
graveyard.
between life-threatening situations.
And I think Belka was sat on a roof during that episode, the first episode.
Yep.
Some
Just
kind of big,
watching the
all
sky.
the adult talking thing. I think during
Oh,
that.
there was, wasn't
Uh,
there?
There was a big meeting,
There
yeah.
were lots of meetings originally. Yeah.
Yeah. In the council, like in the first episode, the end of it was like, should we move on? And I think maybe like, because I remember Vens turning up, because I'd do the thing like, Ryan, you can just come in at any point where Vens wants to turn up and be like, we should go. Because, Vens started out very, very very Gandalf.
Yeah, I definitely didn't. I think I'm glad we moved away from Vens being Gandalf because I think that's a bit
Yeah.
I
much.
prefer sassy Vance.
Sassy Vens.
Sassy Vens.
He's got sass back after spending time in society.
Yeah, it took a minute. Took a minute.
Patience worn down.
You can't be
Basic-
sassy when you're a hermit.
All I can imagine now is Vens doing like a King Theoden. Just like the age slowly falling off him as he spends longer and longer in society.
Oh, yeah,
Remember,
that's the ending
yeah.
of Tiding is when it just becomes young.
Vens is born.
Again. Vens is
just
born.
keep going.
Emerges from a chrysalis as hot Vens.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think like you left, you were walking. I remember like episode 2 was largely people going out on scouting missions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's a big snowstorm, and
Big
we lost a
storm.
caravan.
That we couldn't.
Yeah.
It was too dangerous to stay put for, and we're just trying to keep ahead of it.
Yeah.
Then
But-
one of the
yeah.
caravans got lost in the walk, and Chala was very upset.
Somebody
Yep.
decided to go back into the storm.
I think
and,
Vens to the Storm God.
The solution, I think, was light the caravan on fire,
Mhm.
dance with the storm guard, be really angry at everyone, and go like, "Yeah, storm god, you're my new best friend. You can bring these people back. That's all good." And then we went back, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is great."
And everyone
think-
who went back with Chala was fine.
Yeah.
They were fine.
uh,
Just
Chala
don't look
was
at their
fine.
eyes.
They were
no
not
enough-
reanimated corpses. They were fine.
I'm pretty sure that's what the decisions were. Light things on fire, dance with things, make a deal with the storm god,
Bring back zombies.
Yeah.
I mean,
bring back zombies.
I'm trying to remember like who went, because I know Belka went scouting with Callan and formed that buddy duo comedy. What?
Mhm.
Sorry, duo. That friendship.
Mhm.
Because I feel like you've still got a hold on Callan to ask Callan a question.
I do.
'Cause you
Been
asked, like,
holding on to that for 42 episodes.
And I remember like Vens and Shu were a thing.
Yeah, that was the dynamic.
That
duo.
was-
My boy.
I can't remember
Yeah.
what like
I remember. All I
where
remember of
did
that.
Briss go?
There's the thing with the eagle, wasn't there?
Did you just
Yeah.
go on your own?
Briss had a child.
Briss took Corin, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna show you how to go scouting.
These flimsy rituals where we all forget about Corin all the time.
No, I assumed like Corin was on the caravan with Charla for that first scouting.
Iof was with me.
Hmm. Yeah, because you
I
made
think-
your friendship with Iof, but I remember like in the second episode, that's probably when you went to see Vilta with like Iof and Corin. You went to see Vilta with Corin.
I
And
remember
then
being-
you
I
met
yeah, we
Iof.
were in the back of the caravan with Vilta, just kind of like probably Corin and Chala just chatting random stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I remember there was a scene where like Iof was like,
Briss-
just tell her stories.
Yeah.
Briss came with me and Callan and just did
Ah.
not converse with us at all the whole time she was there.
Just refused to let you sleep at all. And then
It's like when
It
you
all
go like
stopped, yeah.
it's like when you go on like a walk and either you're with someone that is like more determined or you are the more determined one and you're like 10 paces ahead of everyone else, so everyone like, the other two are just like having a conversation at the back of this is fun. Let's take a photo of this mushroom.
Yes.
Did I take Corin into the storm?
You absolutely probably did.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly.
probably.
No, I feel like you didn't, and I feel like Corin was too afraid to go and was like, "No, we shouldn't go, Charla." And then
This is a
I
bad
mostly
idea.
remember Iof in that. And
Yeah.
Iof being like, you really shouldn't do this. This is really dumb.
So I think Iof turned up and stopped Strail, right? Iof turned up and was like, no, leave.
Yeah.
Stop doing this, this is bad. I remember, oh yeah, I was looking at the episode notes, Belka listened to a dead fox for a bit.
Yep.
And
I remember
then
that.
that's
Vens
pretty
cast a
bad.
spell on a bird.
I did.
Yeah, I think when Chala went into the storm, Iof went with Chala because Chala tried to convince the village that they should go, and everyone was like, "No, this is ridiculous. It's a danger storm. Everyone will die." And so, she went to the parish instead, and Iof was like, "Outrageous! You are not willing to lay your life down for everyone. Unacceptable to me.
They'll go with this small child.
I will take the child into the danger storm."
Yeah, like I'm looking and there's no mention. Oh, Chala's alone, apparently.
I think
Like,
I come to the
Iof
farm
definitely
there,
went.
like, on the
Yeah,
way
I-
out.
Yeah, but I thought Iof turned up like later on.
mm,
Or like Chala got separated because I think also Corin was there because I remember Chala danced with Corin. Is that right?
I don't remember that bit.
I don't remember that.
mm,
But I have seen confident for a while, but it's faltering. Oh, this is not in this episode though. I think this was like, yeah, you were walking back.
Yeah, Iof and Chala got separated on the walk, but it was Iof who went with Chala.
Yeah. Yeah, then you all do a big dance.
Big, totally normal
Oh yeah,
dance.
no, Corin is here. Iof is
Oh.
walking still, but Chala drags Sevel and a reluctant Corin back to look for Venren, who bit someone. What?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember this. Like, this is great. Yeah, apparently Chala is not great at wild man advice. Wait, what? Chala is yelling wild man advice about moss and slopes to head them in. Oh, okay, yeah, like as in like Chala is wild woodsman, be like, you have to look at the moss. It's on
Yeah,
the north
Chala
side
was
of
trying
the
to
tree.
like Ray Mears it back to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
caravan, and it turned out they just did not know how to do that.
I think we definitely had a moment like, does it in this place? But yeah, in the best move of this entire game, and nothing will ever beat this, Chala successfully danced them under her will. Yeah. What is it? Someone's being out a little, but they're heading upwards, but Corin is screaming, Venren bit him and ran away. Iof is walking still, but Chala drags Sevel and a reluctant Corin back down to look for this hell child. Venren has stood by a tree, taking off their jacket and dancing. And then, yeah, Corin starts getting tappy as well, and so does Chala. And then Chala's like, I'm just gonna turn this into like playing a game.
Yeah.
And apparently our break after this was we chatted about nasty cheese.
Oh,
Good.
yeah, good for us.
Yes, that was episode 4.
Mhm.
Episode 4. Still in the storm, heading back up a hill.
And then it was big storm times. Let's go in the caves. Actually, that seems safer. I
Yeah.
remember Ven's making a kite.
Yeah.
It's because
Oh yeah, episode 4 is when we go to the caves, because you were scouting the 2 possible paths, right? Like one was the caves, one was yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just magicked up a cape because there was the kite because there was no wind and I had to use magic to fucking send
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
a
yeah.
message.
Yeah.
And then Shu
You're
was
like, hey, come in here.
and then Shu was like, there wasn't any wind. How the fuck did you make a kite fly?
I'm just very good at kites.
Yeah.
Why?
Just throw
Even
my
my
cape
boy
over
doesn't
my
mind.
shoulder.
No.
Let's go
Why
in
do
that
you-
cave now.
You just
But I
create...
like that you did this before even scouting the cave. Like, hey, come this way.
Hey, there is a cave. This will be fine.
Yeah,
This'll
that's what I
be
mean.
fine.
There is a
Nothing bad will
cave.
happen in
I
the
mean,
cave.
What do you want?
we were on a time limit. It wasn't as if like.
I like because I remember like the cave was the choice. I was like, okay, so there's gonna be 2 choices. One is like you can go for the forest and you can head towards the other village in like the Sharrow. That's probably where you'll go. I should put a choice in, maybe a cave. Like that seems fine. You won't go that way because it's obviously a dangerous cave. And then yeah, everything
Remember how I
else.
nearly died just trying to get inside the cave?
Yeah.
We went to the cave to check it out. Had a wee nap, and then all of a sudden everybody else arrived.
Yeah.
How do we nap is a very gentle way of like phrasing what happened there, Steve.
I remember, yeah. Like, there's a bit here where it's like you went into a cave, immediately had to fight some kind of flesh nightmare, because like
Yes.
everything was barricaded. Like, essentially,
We didn't
you
fight-
walked into. I'll find it. But like, essentially, you walked into like a zombie horror situation where like everything's boarded up, and you're like, seems fine.
Seems
we'll
fine.
bring this caravan of vulnerable people.
Yeah,
this way.
so it was already boarded up for protection from the storm.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty secure and safe, and yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like cloth being torn very loudly in here, which is probably not a good sign. There's something big and gross and fleshy coming, but we're all armed. Callan gave Belka his knife because Briss gave him her spear. Her spear? Yes, yeah. We're just watching the gross tube. It's yellowish and fibrous. Briss and Callan just hope it's fungus or something. Briss burns it at arm's length. Smells like burning fat. Briss is going to look over the edge of the shelf. And I think that's when Belka falls.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Belka did a lot of falling in season 1.
Yeah, really a lot of falling down actually.
Yeah, for someone
Yeah.
that's half goat, it's like
Yeah.
really surprising.
Horrible balance.
Yeah.
Belka's half
And
one of
then-
them fainting.
We're about an hour in, pals. Should we have a little tea break and then come back? Or do
I mean,
you-
I think I'm gonna have to wrap up soonish
Okay.
anyway. So, should we get to episode 10,
Sounds good.
which was like our mid-season break point, and then
Yeah.
wrap it up there?
Okay,
Yeah. Like another 10 minutes or something, and then
sounds good.
cool.
And
So-
if anyone in chat's got any questions, bang them in the
Yeah.
chat.
There were
now.
some
we
in the
can-
Discord
Yeah, we've got
actually.
some good ones in Discord.
Yeah.
We can go through them.
I think yeah, so we went into the caves. I think the people who went in first met, I think that's when we met like Maddie and Kaylin and Cast and Leaf, who were like 2 of them were the survivors of an attack, right? But before you learned that properly, you had bedtime,
We had
in
that time.
which Belka had a very novel way of putting Briss to sleep, which was just falling on her.
Yeah.
Hey, it's bedtime. I'm just gonna like body slam you to the floor until you fall asleep.
Correct. I will suplex you into bed, you coward.
I say apparently I've changed that in my head to Belka hugged Briss until Briss finally fell asleep.
Yes, I think it's like Briss was standing up and refusing Balkus like, I'm just gonna fall asleep on you like this, and I'm very heavy.
Yeah.
I forget that like Maddie and Kaylin were described as translucent tiny marmot people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both like big sports people who also like poetry.
Well, tiny sports people.
Yeah, like big as in they love sports.
Yeah.
Big tiny sports people. Yeah, and like I think you find out that we found out that like everything had gone bad under the mountain for some reason.
Mhm.
Like my favorite thing about like tiding is how much like Corpus wasn't a planned thing.
Yeah.
Like it was planned that you would like Strail was the big villain. Well, like at least the antagonist initially, and then like as soon as you got into the cave, it was like, oh, now I need a worse. Oh no, this thing's even worse. I guess
Mhm.
Corpus is the bad thing, and Strail is now Chala's friend.
Strail is, is like a friend that
Rail
helps you
is a
disintegrate
Hmm.
pocket-sized
people.
weasel.
Helps you disintegrate people and have good cuddles with bears made of knives.
Just a little
Can you
guy.
remember why Strail began inhabiting Chala?
There's something it's looking for, isn't there?
Fella made a very
It was a
ill-begotten
deal.
pact.
I was gonna say, I think we made a deal. I thought it was during the dance, though. I don't think
No.
No, it was after that, I'm
it was
afraid.
after that. Let's say I remember one of the uses of magic, which didn't go very well, was in the cave, trying to set everything on fire, I think.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
don't think that went well.
I think it was like a preview of like what happened with Sharrow later on, in that you were like, okay, I'm gonna invite like Strail into this cave to set everything on fire or something like that.
Okay, so that was the part of the pact moment.
Yeah, because I think you were like, I'm gonna. No, I think it was like you being like, oh, I can somehow do something weird, and maybe draw on Strail's power. And I think in doing that, you welcome Strail into the cave, and Corpus just went, oh, hello, new power. I'm gonna take all this. And Strail went, oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Corpus currently has at the end of like Tiding Season 1, whatever like metallic god body it was created from. It also controls Slumber, who is like the god of sleeping under the mountain, or Remnant. It also gained parts of Strail's power, and it also has the body of the Sharrow, and also Goya. You know, just in case this world-ending, not Remnant, because what is a new Remnant called?
Yeah, but we've got a jackal, right?
You've got a
Yay.
jackal. You've got a jackal, and you've got a prophet.
Wait, so was
And
hold on,
Nilcat knows Oaken.
hold on.
True.
Was Ven's going to see the Sharrow after the cave?
Maybe Vens didn't go into the cave.
No.
Oh, was it that Vens found the cave, put up a kite to be like, okay, there's a cave here that might be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should come check this out. I'm gonna keep going with Shu.
Yeah.
Yes, to go
Yes.
and investigate the
Yeah.
Sharrow situation.
Yeah, because then you went and found the big revelation of like the first bunch of
Yeah.
episodes, which was
Sharrow's dead.
That was
Sharrow's
dead.
dead. Remnants killed it. Not Remnants, the Jackals killed it because basically the Yield, which is their big garden that if you listen to Embrace, Ash spent some lovely time in, predicted that something terrible was going to grow, roughly where the Sharrow was. So the Jackal's like, that must be the remnant of this place, the Sharrow. And instead it was Corpus.
There you go.
And yeah, they killed the Sharrow by accident.
How
No, they did it on purpose. They fully meant to.
They killed the Sharrow on purpose, but it wasn't the thing that they meant to kill.
and my brother, the bastard.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder who sent them this way. Who is Lord of the Jackals now? Who could say?
I refuse to accept that Ash is I just he would have to go so far wrong, which is entirely in character, but like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
boy. I don't wanna be like that.
How tall is the Sharrow again?
2 double-decker buses.
At least 2 double-decker
Just-
buses.
If each
2.
double-decker bus was like, a few hundred feet.
Gotcha.
I actually saw a really good image the other day, which actually solidified how I think the Sharrow looks. Which is, let me just find the name. It's just called Elephant by Salvador Dali.
Ah.
If you look at that image and imagine, replace the elephant part of it with just a big mountain with a long brontosaurus style neck. That's kind of how I imagine it. Those kind of legs, but maybe slightly thicker.
Oh, I never thought of the Sharrow of being stilty legs. I always thought
And,
turtle
it
legs.
has to be, because the canyons are so deep. We describe the canyons as
Yeah. But I thought the canyons.
Multiple.
But I thought the canyons had been worn down by the Sharrow going there.
it had, but you can still see the Sharrow walking above the canyon when it comes out. It's not like you look down and the Sharrow's there. It's there's the Sharrow coming towards us.
Imagine them walking the Sharrow was sort of at the bottom of the canyon, and everyone looked down, and you sort of saw
No.
the bird around the corner before you saw the Sharrow.
I kind of imagine it the Sharrow's body is wide enough to carve the canyon.
Wow.
And I almost imagine the legs of it probably grow longer, the deeper the canyon gets.
Love that.
I started making a model of the Sharrow, which I hope to finish at some point. But legs be long. Legs be
Legs be long.
stupid long. What if a turtle had very long legs?
Really long. Yeah, I always imagined it with thick legs, but
Yeah, I
very
think the
long.
legs are... Yeah. And I think they're very, thick legs. Imagine those legs look thick. And the reason they look so thin is just because it's very big. If a mountain had legs that were, hundreds of feet wide, they would still look like very spindly legs if you saw the whole mountain.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You do.
I basically picture Sharrow as a rhino with a turtle shell. If that rhino had the legs of 10 rhinos just stacked.
Yeah, that's not... Yeah. I also think it has a big long neck, but yeah.
And a
very
big
rhino-y
long neck.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Craggy.
With a big mountain.
And you said the legs of 10 rhinos. I'm just imagining a luggage situation, just a centipede with
I
rhinos.
did say stacked. Stacked legs.
Well,
But only one set of knees, I guess.
Legs on legs. These legs go all the way down.
well, I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
that we've been vague enough that everybody.
It's a very different
very
image
different
of-
idea. Yeah, Baden said
You have your own
in my mind, the Sharrow rolled, and
there's no real canon. There's no real what everything looks
Yeah.
like, or even names. Just make it up for yourself.
Yeah.
Read it.
I think the main point I would make about remnants is we often describe them as animals, but absolutely imagine them as weirder. Just
So much
however
weirder.
weird you think. Often when we commission art, it's yeah, that's good. Just make it weirder. Make it weirder.
More.
I think, yeah, in my head, it's every remnant is nightmarish to perceive and behold.
Unless they're your friends.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be in your version of the world.
The reason I'm pro Sharrow having legs, just in general, is it has a big plodding energy. The
Yeah.
Sharrow plods, right? It's a
The Sharrow plods until, according to Cast, it buries into the earth and disappears for half the year. Whether Cast is a good nature writer, who knows? That was my favorite bit of Sharrow lore in one of the intros. Is Cast does nature writing and was yeah, the Sharrow just disappears for half the year and no one. It doesn't make sense because essentially, villages in the Sharrow all have festivals to celebrate. Hey, the Sharrow is here, and this village is it's June when the Sharrow turns up, and this village out in the nuts it's December, and for the rest January to May, the Sharrow isn't anywhere. No villages are the Sharrow's here, so no one knows where the Sharrow goes. for half the year, which I found very funny. I don't know why that got added in, but I love it.
Bear
There's
with
just
me.
an inverse Sharrow.
Big canyon, but also
Mhm.
there's just one big tunnel through the middle. He walks around the edge and then just walks underneath all the villages. And I was like,
Yeah.
where's the shower gone?
The legs have got about 16 knees each, and it just kind of folds
It just
up.
collapses like an
Accordions.
accordion and then waddles under the earth.
Oh.
Love it.
Anyway, where were we? Ben's found out the shower was dead. Everyone was in the caves, and everyone turned up to the caves. And then we had like the first of like the what happens with like recording actual play podcasts, or what happens with recording film rituals. Is you're like, this is going to be a couple of episodes under these caves. And then that was our first instance. Then it was like, this is going to be a couple of episodes under this monastery. This is just going to be a very quick and done revolutionary season. Like I think it's like
We're very
Did
good.
we have
We're
like
very good, yeah.
4 episodes of Briss running down some stairs?
Oh my God.
yeah,
Just
When-
kept going.
4 episodes of Briss running down some stairs when all the time she had a gun, which is why Steve's Discord name is Steve Has a Gun Martin. Oh no, I need.
I'm still gonna forget.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh. But yeah, we spent some time under caves. What happened? Like largely, basically, you met the people who had survived whatever had happened. You went into the world's saddest room, if you remember that room.
Full of empty chairs and tables. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full of empty
With all
chairs
their
and
fancy
tables.
chairs.
Yeah, so like the big part of their culture was they all made their own chair that represented who they are. I can't wait until we go back to Recording Titan Season 2 and they've made one for Briss.
Your wedding chair.
Hi, we're part of your family now. I made you your chair.
Briss only ever sits on it backwards. By the way, this is. Like,
They've made it so you can only sit on it backwards.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
each show is like bespoke, right? They've made it so just whichever way you sit on it, you're sitting on it backwards. It's like it's like a V shape in the middle, and just 2 backs.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in the caves trying to convince Maddie and Kaelin to leave. I think which
Yeah.
was a lot of what happened down there.
And Belka got some poetry words.
I got a magnetic poetry kit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because which one's the poet? Poet is Kaelin. Is that right?
I was
need
going
to-
to say Maddie, but
It might be
it's one
Maddie.
of them.
Maddie is described as a sporty poet, and Kaelin is the sporty scientist. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was Maddie.
They both met and fell in love playing sports. I think we went through the sports arena at some point because there was the big bits for
Yes,
hoops.
with the big hoops and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of just want like the pre-corpus thing, which is just Maddie and Kaelin being part of a sports anime.
I was just about to say, yeah.
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 But just imagine like 2 sports anime protagonists who fell in love and then were just transported into this Ghibli world instead. Like that's who they are. Also, they're marmot people and their skin is translucent and it has stars shining under the bottom of it. So, they deserve their own show is what I'm saying.
They do. They
Yeah.
really do.
Agree.
But yeah, eventually, I think you were losing that argument and then one of them screamed. I think it was Kaelin screamed and
Yes.
it became apparent they didn't matter whether they wanted to leave, they just needed to leave.
And then the caravan showed up.
Yeah, then the caravan showed up and there was a lot of fighting.
Yep.
I was forbidden from fighting on account of constantly falling down holes. I think I went and found boats instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Found their
I-
very nice boating lake.
Mm.
I very much misinterpreted where people were stood and let a load of people die to save Corin, who wasn't really in any danger.
Yes, yeah, Corin was sort of basically fine. You're just
Really
like, no, I
fine,
have
like,
to save Corin.
You stay here.
Corin was in danger, I think. It was just
Just
like
not quite as
Briss,
immediately.
like I think it made sense for Briss to be like,
Yeah, absolutely.
oh, this is the person I have sworn to protect. I
and I
will
must go save.
come back from her grave and murder me if Corin gets hurt.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Briss has never made a good decision.
absolutely not.
So, like, how many people did we lose in that? Because I knew Ree was definitely.
Yeah, like it's So we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 people?
Mm. Because
Is it-
Corpus just kind of like spread through the tunnels, right?
Yeah. I think I did some rolling to see who got hurt and how.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it just sort of it felt like it needed to be like partially it was, hey, we kind of have too many characters, it'd be good to have this moment to
Line
show
them up.
the seriousness of Corpus, but also like just to thin down the amount of characters and remembering stuff we need to do.
Varask got very seriously injured but did not die, and was one of the people that Briss abandoned to go and save Corin.
Yeah.
And that,
Rask is the character you most want
Definitely.
fan art of, don't you?
oh god, I want fan out of Varask so bad.
Wait,
But Varask
Um,
was described as the most beautiful boy in the whole world, essentially. The
no,
flower
the
of
most
Ninut.
the most beautiful boy in Ninut.
In Ninut, which is the whole world for people who
Yeah.
live in Ninut. And then he got really, really, really badly scarred by Corpus under the mountains and is now the most beautiful boy, but angry.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Here are my notes, which I don't know if I still agree with, but let's find out. I've not read them. Varask, the wildflower. Look is gorgeous, slim with a cocky smile, smooth skin, has a scar that stretches from his lip under his chin. So that was like the wound that he got from Corpus. His defining emotion, is the heat of summer, because apparently that's what I wrote. His skills are farming and pottery. He's from Ninut. He grew up as an orphan, adopted by his uncle Tyal and his partner Palesk. He enjoys being out in the fields, doing simple, often hard work. This sounds like his dating profile now.
He's
This
the
is what
one
Tyal and
who's-
Palesk do. And like, have you met Varask? He represents the seasons. He's just spread the hopeful. I don't even know I've written that. I'm not going to read it. What does
He-
that mean?
He's Shu and Callan's partner, right? Or is
Yeah.
he just
Yes.
yes?
Yeah, he's
'Cause
dating
they
them
were all
both, but
three of
Shu
them
and
together.
Callan don't like. I don't
And then
think
Shu
Shu
and
and
Callan
Callan
fell
are
out.
together. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
sort of like, we both date the same person, but I'm not sure. And like, we were best friends,
Yeah,
but like,
that
this
was
is
it, yeah.
stressful.
Yeah.
Varask has always been carefree. His guardians gave him good life, welcomed them into their family, and taught them their trades. Teenager, he was wildly interested in other people. This got him into trouble often. He loves freely, there was a heartbreaker only unintentionally. While he lacked concern, didn't notice how deeply others felt for him. Blah blah. But basically, that person is like, oh, everyone's falling in love. Oh, everyone's falling out because they like me, but I'm not going to do anything to like stop that happening. Varask changed in the caves. He saw death approach him, and Briss forsake him. Yes, Briss was like, should I say Varask? No. So Varask hated Briss. That was the thing. In that moment, his naivety disappeared, and he knew that if he wanted to survive, he had to be more pragmatic. Somehow he's not entirely sure himself. He got out of the caves. Now he burns with the heat of summer, righteousness and idealism, a heat that is both life and threat. I don't know what I've written there, but like he hates Briss is his other defining personality trait now.
Yeah, because he called Briss out in the middle
Yeah.
of like a town meeting, right? To be like, you left me to die.
You left me to die. Like Briston and Varask are part the big like anti-Briss crew, but I don't think Varask liked Briston. Briston, yeah. I don't know why I didn't kill Briston. Why don't I kill I enjoy that this entire family, I'm looking at them now, is just like, what if we gave people namesake names for the rest of the... So like the families Ian and Savell, who are like the grandparents, then there's Ven and Briston, who are like the children, and then there's Venren and Island. So like Venren and Briston.
There was a lot of Ven names.
Yeah, it's because like I don't know whether we've ever discussed it in the show, but like Ven was like one of basically is a character, like is a mythological figure sort of similar to Oaken, who was the person who brought down Provenance. And Provenance we'll probably talk about if we do another one of these. Provenance was like who were the group who created Corpus, was the thing that we learned. So yeah, like Ven is the person who stopped Corpus the first time round when it was a big empire, and like the Satrapy of Featro were like one of the satraps of Corpus, like one of the states, and who just pretend that they still are, sort of. So it all kind of like links into that. The deep lore.
Big hero.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's who you're named after, Vens. Like
Wow.
like Ven is like that kind of famous figure where like people outside of different cultures will name themselves after him.
Well,
So it's-
here it comes. Ven's totally about to not be the savior of this campaign. He'll die first before doing anything useful.
So yeah,
Yes.
anyway, you end up going for a lake, you find a lake, and then you escape Corpus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm pretty sure there was probably like some other deeper stuff. Like I think there was something where did Vens get a bond with Corpus, which we haven't
Yeah.
used that much yet, but I think will come up. Yeah.
You got another case where Chala passed out
In the
before
boat,
going
maybe?
through the boats.
Possibly. 'Cause there's, like,
Um,
a sleepy moment. Weren't you trying to put everything to sleep? Wasn't that what you were trying to do? Put Corpus to sleep?
I did, but I put everyone to sleep. Wasn't that what
Oh,
Yes,
happened?
you did.
Charla was trying to put flames out because someone set everything on fire, which might have also been Charla.
That was Charla.
Charla set everything on fire, and then Charla is going to
Realised
use
that
some
that was a
uncanny
bad idea.
potential to try and spread the fire just everywhere. We're burning this whole place
That was
down.
it.
Nope, no, we're not, because that's a 5. That might be the worst outcome, not setting it all ablaze. The storm might be in here now, but that's a problem for future us. For now, what happens is a big old wind and all the flames in the vicinity go out.
That's it.
It's
yes,
dark
I
in
wanted to
here,
set everything
yeah.
on fire, and instead I turned out all the lights. Good luck, everyone. And also, here's a storm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think what basically happened is Charla tried to set everything on fire. And I
Oh.
think the use of uncanny potential was calling out to Strail for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Strail just put all the fires out and then then moved in.
I also love that Vens isn't actually in the building yet.
Yeah.
Vens is still outside, because the next episode is Vens trying to climb across the place that everyone else has, but with the added danger of there being a lot of like
It was a storm and
carts everywhere that abandoned,
yeah.
and you fell off, I think. Wait,
Yeah.
Shu holds his bow out to Vens to help finish crossing, while to Gentleman. Behind him, a bear-like creature rises and Vens calls out. The two tussle. Vens is left at a cliff's edge while the bear is rushing, swirling towards him. Vens is dodging. Yeah, it's going to tempt fate to jump out of the way. So yeah, like lots of... Yeah, you kind of came in later on and tried to save the day a little bit.
Yeah, action vans.
Action Vens.
Then you made it to the boats, and then you all had like a log flume ride
Yeah.
down into the lake.
Yay.
Oh yeah, and it ended with wild, because Vens turned up. Wild magic time for Vens. We're trapped in all directions, and we need to break out. So he's going to do some magic to push back the power of the remnant. He's ignoring the fact that I don't know what that means. He's spell weaving to try and calm these plants the fuck down, refurling themselves and wilting a little. Uh-oh, he's called some dangerous attention to himself. The Eater is going to get a bond on Vens. It knows him now. This thing uses the things it finds as tools, weapons, etc. to get what it wants. Now Vens is a thing that it wants. He also sort of misaimed this thing, and now everyone's a bit relaxed and woozy, stumbling and falling to their knees in the corridor. We're all falling out here now. Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, but peacefully. It's numb and quiet. It's time to sleep because it feels safe and suddenly not dangerous in here. As we fall asleep, Vens closing his eyes last, Vilta opens her eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we left the first arc of Tiding.
Put everyone
All of
to
you in like a horrible log flume, but asleep.
Yeah.
had to put everyone to bed so that Filter could get up for the night shift.
Yeah.
The power of our collective bedtime.
I'm just imagining Vilta waking up and just be like, oh god, what's happening? There are 10 boats just like being sped along this underground river.
Who are all
Oh,
these
no.
people?
Just trying to like ferryman like 10 boats. Oh,
Right.
that was part
That
one
was
of
it.
Tiding.
Was.
Yeah, I think we'll probably leave it here for now and like maybe do another one of these to try and remember the rest of it. But
Do we want to answer one or two questions from the
yeah, one or
Discord
two
before we go?
questions. Let's do it. What questions do we have?
Well, Baden was first, if I remember rightly. What traits do you feel you share with each of your characters?
Who would like to go first?
I think it should be Ziz because I feel like this is the easiest.
Yeah. I think Steve, actually, with Briss, they're exactly alike.
I mean, we're both terrible parents. That's basically what I drew on. It's how much I can't stand being around people's kids.
Including
Like-
your fictional own.
Yeah. Just like this is why I shouldn't be a parent. Demonstrate Exhibit A. This fictional one. Just bad. What else? It's
What about
mostly
Ash?
that was just basically being a dick and wanting to be left alone. I think.
And
Steve
then
share
Ash
the
is
trait of
just
parkour.
basically you.
And Ash is what if me, but actually followed through with all the stupid ideas that I had.
Poor Steve, but a teenager.
Yeah. What if I could still do parkour without breaking my ankles every time I fucking have a go at it?
And Ziz, what do you share with Charla? Is it what if me, but I followed through with all the bad ideas I had?
I mean, I also have LARPing for that, which is, what if me, but if I wanted to stab someone, I could stab them. But this is more like, I think it's just, here's all of my bad ideas. You're welcome.
So Chala or Nia or both?
Probably both. Probably both. Nia has different bad ideas to my bad ideas. Where I think
Yes.
Chala is very much like exactly what my bad ideas would probably be.
Yeah.
I can 100% see here is Storm, God of Dancing, and going like, you know what? The best way to deal with it? Dance with it. And dance
Yeah.
dance so
More
hard,
dancing.
dance so well, and so much dancing that this is all fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Nia, I think it's slightly different. There were multiple decisions that are not Ziz's decisions. But still bad ones.
Yeah, I'm
Say,
not sure what I
Abigail
would say you
says
share.
both, and Abigail is my little sibling, so I can't really argue with that.
Ryan, what do you share with Vance and Ivar?
Old man.
A love of birds, a love of beans,
Love beans.
and a love of bat dogs.
Well, I mean, like, I definitely feel like I share Venz's old man energy a lot. Like, definitely of.
I feel like a lot of Venza's sass is also really coming from the heart, though. In fairness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, Ivar I think is just very much living out the male fantasy of wanting to be a cowboy with eyes that float around your head.
It's like every man wants.
Universal ideal of having 6 eyes.
Yeah.
the unrealistic male standards. Yeah. But other than that, no, I think I'm trying to think what else about Ivar. Ivar's a weird one because he's also like kind of trying to be the leader but isn't. Just like vaguely responsible. Vaguely responsible, I
Not
feel
too
like
much.
sums up a lot of the things that I do. I'm vaguely responsible for it, therefore I've taken part in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I imagine in most scenes is like Ivar having slightly demanifested, like while the people maybe are making bad decisions. And if you could see Ivar, Ivar would just be frowning.
I don't know if frowning has the same.
When your eyes aren't in the
Yeah,
face.
same. People don't have the same reaction to you frowning if the eyes aren't there.
Do you reckon Ivar has found a way to like convey that energy without frowning?
I would say yes.
He just
1,000%.
zooms the eyeballs really up close to you.
Yeah.
Just frowns with his lips.
Oh God.
That's what the mustache is for. A mustache is the eyebrows of the lips.
The eyebrows of the lip. Okay, moving on.
Hey, we're back.
Thrid. You do your characters, please.
I mean, I don't want to admit how much of Ezra just is me. Like 95 to 98% of it. Belka's just a power fantasy in which I would be tall.
Yeah.
All and more confused.
I feel like Belka's slightly foolish persona is maybe a slightly shared trait. I could answer this sensibly, but I'm not going to. is a little bit me.
I like how like flipped Ezra is to that. Like, I could answer this foolishly, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I will take this seriously.
But yeah, most of Ezra is extremely from the heart. Unfortunately, I'm just like that.
Baden did just ask in chat, was calling him Ivar on purpose, and
Oh.
it was not. And honestly, the from deep down in my heart, the reason I called him Ivar was because just before making that character, someone had reminded me of an old Welsh cartoon called Ivor the Engine, which is about
Nice.
an old
Nice.
Welsh steam engine, and I just remembered it from watching it when I was a kid.
So
And-
by the end of Embrace, you got the full Ivar the Engine.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You truly
Yeah,
became
it's
Ivar the
your
Engine.
goal.
I did become Ivar the Engine.
What was Ivar almost called before it was Fetch Grimoire, but it was too hard to say in Welsh?
Grimoire.
Dredge
Yeah.
Grimoire.
Dredge Grimoire.
It's too many rolling R's.
Yeah, I had to try it out in the like very Welsh accent. It was
Yeah.
just.
Do you want to try it out now?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Can you
Wasn't
give
it
us
like a real mouthful? Ivar Dredge Grimoire. It was,
Yeah.
It was because it was R into R into R. It was like too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like before we wrap up.
Adam, what characteristics do you share? With
Okay.
Hmm.
I will say that what I'm gonna ask you all to do, which is like, are you able to deliver a line with your Titan characters? I'll let you think about that. Which characters? Nilcat, maybe the earnestness, and I had a lot of fun writing Nilcat's intros because it was like, what if I just gave into my worst instincts as a writer, and like just wrote badly to some, like not badly, like there's a way of doing like this is sort of bad but still enjoyable, which is a lot of like Nilcat's writing. Nilcat is just a fool. Takes
Yeah.
everything too seriously. Yeah,
He
like
invented metaphors, actually. Did you know that?
Nilcat invented metaphors. What other characters are interesting? Jeddah is just Nilcat, but earlier. Different kind of storytelling. Like, I feel like all of the characters I identify with are storytellers in some way. Like, Jeddah is much more like, what if I told you about the sun and the moon, and I
Jeddah's
did
much
it in
more
a slightly
folklory,
different
isn't she?
voice. Yeah. All I can think of now is Avon Ferverunt, who I'm nothing like, but I'm looking forward to doing A History of Corpus by Avon Ferverunt. God, I broke my voice, but that was so hard to do because it's not my accent at all. And like staying in that accent for those recordings were tricky. I guess the other person that just came to mind then was someone who I just forgot. I forgot.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Corin is just I'm always a kid, and I like winding Steve up. That's the trait I share with Corin.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
Like,
on.
honestly,
Universal truth.
I like playing kids, like playing children in actual play or like in role playing games is so much fun. It's like, okay, I have been a child. I know how to wind adults up. I just get to do this again. Because I remember having very fun scenes as well with Ivar. In like when Ivar ran a school for a little bit in
Yeah.
Embrace. Like that was also very fun. And the amount of times like I fall back into like Corin's great line, which is like, what about jumping? There's so many lines that I feel like I repeat from Tiding.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about jumping? Beans!
Basically, once a week, quietly to myself, I'll go, "Oh, I do like remnants."
Oh, I
That's
do
next
like
to mine.
remnants. Is that actually in the episode?
I can't remember.
I don't have
We might have cut it out of the actual episode, but
Yeah.
I do like remnants.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's what I was going to say. I think the character I most like actually is Captain Aloma Princess.
Oh,
Oh,
we wouldn't.
No,
And
not
Rama
at all.
Rama.
No.
That was just like me channeling horrible stuff. Like, what if I could make the biggest cop energy character? Let's go.
He does seem like fun to play, to be honest. He seemed to.
Yeah, has been a lot of fun to play. Was drawn from like I remember doing like teenage role playing games online, and I got to just join like a D&D game as like a noble, and I was really very annoying to play with because like teenage online whatever. But I just remember just being a terrible noble character, and I just kind of channeled that, but like in a better way.
That was Steve's character in the space RPG we played.
Oh yeah,
Gap
Gap Year.
Gap Year.
Yep, yeah.
Oh yeah. So like before we did Tiding, we did like space RPG, just us and some friends. I remember Steve joined halfway through, so Steve's character just ended up joining because they found him floating in space, and then just like left before the big fight. Like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to go to this planet now. I'm just having a little trip. It's very good. You want to come join this big fight? No, absolutely not. Drop me off here.
Basically, the whole campaign that like was sort of like a side story in his protagonist story. It's a side.
And was a big reason that we were like, we need to have Steve on the podcast 100% because
Yes,
he'll absolutely fuck shit.
Gap Year was great.
Gap Year.
I can't. Just it like Jaden.
Jared. It was
It,
Jared.
was,
Jared.
it wasn't Jared until it was Jared.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
something
It
else.
was something else. Yeah.
Was it Jareth?
Yeah.
And
was
then
Jared.
I forgot that
But
was the
you
name.
think-
That was the name that already
Call it
existed.
Jared.
And it was
Yeah.
like we pointed out. I was alright. Fuck, it's fucking Jared now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we wrap up? And yeah, do you remember how your accents sounded? Your voices?
Enthusiastic.
I don't think Briss had a
all.
voice.
Yeah. I think Belka is the one I remember the most, which seems like the hardest to do cold.
I don't remember anything Belka has ever said.
You just say things backwards, right?
Yeah, Belka didn't really have a. Belka was more of an affectation to the way they spoke than a voice as such.
I remember you like because I think well in my head I learn how to speak whatever language Ninot speaks from Belka, so they speak in the same way.
Yes, yeah.
What is stew?
The only thing I can remember Belka saying is answering Aloma Labrensis knocking on the door and be like, "This is Belka on behalf of Tillabrax. No, thank you. Leave, please. No, thank you."
No, thank you. Yeah, Belka's great, and so are Vens and Jala, and I can't wait to play again with them very, very soon and make those character sheets.
Yeah.
And Briss exists, I guess.
But also will be there.
But Steve is great.
Oh, thanks.
You just make annoying characters. Well done.
You make fantastic annoying
I
characters.
mean, Ash was lovely. Ash was like very lovely. Ash is just Charla Mark II, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm,
I can't. Yeah,
We all take turns every season being a Chala.
yeah. I can't wait for the
I've
inevitable
already
arc where-
Bagsied being the annoying, horrible little one in the next suit. It's not going to be for ages, but I've already put my claim down for being the horrible little man.
From Brita's point of view, you were the annoying one.
Oh yeah, you were
You already
jingling
done
constantly.
Because
But you are not prepared for what's coming next.
I can't wait.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
Continue forward.
Ash was part revenge for Belka.
Wow.
That's fair. That is fair.
I'm just imagining Charla inevitably usurping Ash as King of the Jackals. Like, not that that is necessarily what that is simplifying where we're going to end up, but we don't actually really know. But like,
I have
yeah,
no idea where Chala's gonna be, but
we've got no idea where
it's gonna
Ash is either until we get there. We find out.
yeah.
You know.
Charla meeting Ash would be very much the King Boomy episode of Avatar.
Mm.
Yes.
It depends where
Right.
Chala's at that point. I put a whole bunch of emotions down on that us trying to make our character sheets. I wrote like 30 of them. And some of them are like the King Boomy,
Yeah.
and some of them are not.
Oh gosh.
Charla about to enter her emo phase.
Oh.
Anyway, shall we say goodbye and good night and
Let's.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And thank you for
Thank you
coming
for-
along.
Yeah.
It's really really great having folks in chat and yeah, getting back into all this. I'm super excited to
We'll be back
to
soon.
record.
We
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.